All right, so not too much to show here. It's a pretty simple setup, but this is what the engine bay looks like. Like I said, I boost leak tested all this when I put this engine back in. There was no leaks except for, like I said, there was a little bit of leakage from the wastegate rod, but from what I understand, that's slightly normal and wouldn't really cause our problem. When I boost leak tested this, I had a mechanical gauge in the regulator, and I activated the fuel pump with max ECU, and I could see that the regulator was responding to the reference appropriately. I hit it with 20 psi of air pressure as per my tank gauge, and the regulator reflected the increase in pressure the way you would expect, at least at idle flow. Obviously, there's no injectors scavenging volume from the rail at idle. Well, not even at idle. It was just with the car off, so not even any idle flow. But the lines come up back here. That's the feed line right there. Goes to the back of the rail where there's a 90. See if you can get it to focus. There you go. There's the 90. Not much choice on that. It's touching the firewall. This is very hot. Obviously, it's very hot back there, but not as hot as the block itself. I mean, the back of the rail is very, very hot. It actually feels like it's getting hotter as we're sitting here. You know, the car's not moving, and the car is very hot from just going out and taking it out. I touched that before, and it was not as hot as it is right now. But every car is set up like that, so if it's not a problem for anybody else, I don't see how it could be a problem for me. Here's the return side. There's a 45 coming off the rail so that the line would sit in this spot right here. It's not touching the block or anything. It's sitting right above it. Block is obviously very, very hot. This line is hot, but not that bad. This is scalding hot. This is touchable. This is all not that bad. The regulator is even cooler. Sitting on the strut tower now. I actually did put a second 45 in this. So there's a 90, 45, and then a 45. I just put this one on just because I needed a little bit of extra length, actually. But we had this fuel pressure problem before I put this extra 45 in here. So that's not the problem. Return goes right down from here. Wraps behind the heater hoses there and goes back down underneath where the what do you call it? The ground strap goes in that little black tray. They both wrap under the car, then they come up the backside of the frame rail, go up to the regulator hat, where they hit that low profile banjo from Radium Engineering. It's the low dollar 0 to 100 psi rail pressure sensor. This is actually very cool, cooler than the regulator even. So it's not like the sensor itself is heat soaked like crazy. The power wire, I had to extend this because I used to have the sensor in the rail, and quite frankly, I don't think it made any difference putting it over here in the regulator. I want to rule that out though, so I extended this harness. It's heat shrink wrapped. The line itself is pretty cool until right around here where it comes up and joins the injector loom, because it used to come out right here, but it joins. I can't get the focus. There we go. Where's that line? It comes back into this casing right here, and it is very hot in this area, but that line comes up through the runner here and comes into this casing. So I don't think that heat is a problem. And then of course this wraps around the back side of the engine, comes up into the electronic box. But that's the setup. Here's my boost lines to the boost solenoid. There's not much else to show. The reference line for the regulator is smaller now with the A1000. I didn't want to drill this out like I did with the eBay one or the Amazon one, so I left it with, they give you this port. If they think it's good enough, why not use it? And drilling out the other regulators didn't seem to help the issue we're having. Like I said, with the boost leak test, it doesn't seem to be a reference issue. But I took my 6mm line and reduced it down to 4 so that it would work with the A1000. But again, that does not seem to be the issue. We've ruled that out. It's definitely not leaking any boost. It's definitely not coming off. It's very tight on there. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But it's really not that complicated of a setup. It's not like this line is leaking reference. This sensor is now in a place where it shouldn't be getting so hot. And the regulator itself is really not even, barely even warm now. It was warmer before, but that's it.